The sound came first. A rapid burst shattered the silence as American soldiers fought their way through the narrow streets of a war-torn town during World War II. Every doorway could hide an enemy. Every corner could become an ambush. In these brutal, close-range battles, hesitation meant death. For many American troops, one weapon became their greatest advantage: the Thompson Submachine Gun. Compact, powerful, and firing the heavy .45 ACP cartridge, it unleashed a storm of bullets that gave soldiers the confidence to push forward when every second mattered. In ruined cities, dense forests, and Pacific jungles, its unmistakable roar became a familiar sound of Allied advances. Its reputation spread quickly. American infantry trusted it in close combat. Allied commandos valued its stopping power. Even German and Japanese troops learned to respect the weapon whenever they encountered it on the battlefield. But the Thompson carried a reputation, unlike any other military firearm. Long before it became a symbol of American soldiers, it had already gained worldwide fame under a very different name: the Tommy Gun. Its image appeared not only in wartime photographs, but also in newspaper headlines covering gang wars, bank robberies, and the violent years of Prohibition. It became the weapon of elite soldiers and infamous criminals. Few firearms have ever lived two completely different lives, one earned through courage on the battlefield, the other through crime on the streets. Yet despite its legendary status, the Thompson was never originally designed for either purpose. It began as an ambitious solution to a military problem that emerged during one of history's deadliest conflicts, a problem that challenged decades of military thinking and inspired an entirely new kind of weapon. So how did a firearm intended to help soldiers in war become one of the most recognizable weapons ever created? And why does its legacy continue to endure long after the battles and the gangsters have faded into history? To answer those questions, we must return to the closing days of the First World War, where a very different battlefield gave birth to a revolutionary idea. World War I transformed warfare forever. Across Europe, armies found themselves trapped in endless trench systems where victory was measured in yards instead of miles. Soldiers spent months under constant artillery fire, only to face brutal hand-to-hand fighting whenever they left the safety of their trenches. The weapons they carried were no longer suited to this new reality. Bolt-action rifles were accurate and powerful, but they were slow. In the chaos of trench assaults, a soldier often had only seconds to react. Firing one round at a time and cycling the bolt after every shot could become a deadly disadvantage. Heavy machine guns delivered overwhelming firepower, but they came at a cost. They were bulky, difficult to move, and required crews to operate effectively. They could dominate defensive positions, but offered little help to a soldier charging through narrow trenches. There was a growing gap between mobility and firepower. Military commanders realized infantry needed a weapon that combined the portability of a rifle with the rapid fire of a machine gun. Soldiers required something light enough to carry into close combat, while delivering enough automatic fire to overwhelm enemy positions. As the war continued, advances in automatic weapon technology made that idea seem increasingly possible. Engineers began experimenting with compact automatic firearms designed specifically for short-range engagements rather than long-distance marksmanship. Although the war ended before such a weapon could be widely introduced, the lessons remained impossible to ignore. The United States Army carefully studied the battlefield experience of World War I. It became clear that future conflicts would demand faster, more flexible infantry weapons, capable of performing in the confined spaces where many battles were actually fought. The search had begun. Military planners were no longer asking how to improve the traditional rifle. They were asking whether an entirely new category of weapon was needed. From this question emerged a revolutionary concept: a lightweight automatic firearm powerful enough for close combat and simple enough for an individual soldier to carry. The world did not know it yet, but the age of the submachine gun was about to begin. Now that the battlefield problem had been identified, all it needed was someone determined enough to turn the idea into reality. The idea of the Thompson Submachine Gun began with one man. General John T. Thompson, a career U.S. Army officer and experienced weapons expert, had spent years studying how firearms influenced the battlefield. Watching the brutal fighting of World War I convinced him that soldiers needed a completely different kind of weapon for close-range combat. He imagined a lightweight automatic firearm that could sweep through enemy trenches with overwhelming firepower. He called the idea a Trench Broom. Determined to make it a reality, Thompson retired from active military service and, in 1916, founded the Auto Ordnance Company. His goal was ambitious: build a compact automatic weapon that any infantryman could carry into battle. But having an idea was far easier than building one. Thompson assembled a team of talented engineers and designers who worked to turn the concept into a practical firearm. Together, they experimented with new operating systems, ammunition, and manufacturing methods, searching for a balance between reliability, firepower, and portability. The project faced constant challenges. Creating a compact weapon capable of sustained automatic fire was far more difficult than expected. Technical problems delayed development, while manufacturing a completely new firearm required time and significant financial investment. Then, history moved faster than the project. In November 1918, World War I came to an end before the weapon was ready. The battlefield that had inspired the Trench Broom disappeared almost overnight. Without an ongoing war, military demand fell sharply. Instead of entering combat in the trenches of Europe, Thompson's invention found itself searching for a purpose in peacetime America. Commercial success was uncertain, and convincing military leaders to adopt an entirely new type of firearm became another difficult battle. Yet Thompson refused to abandon his vision. He believed the future of infantry combat still belonged to lightweight automatic weapons, even if the world was not yet ready to accept them. His persistence kept the project alive. What began as a solution for the trenches would soon become one of the most recognizable firearms in history. But before it could earn that reputation, the design itself still had to prove it could become a reliable, practical weapon for mass production. Turning John T. Thompson's vision into a working firearm was a long and difficult journey. Early prototypes went through repeated testing as engineers searched for the right balance between reliability, accuracy, and controllable automatic fire. Every improvement brought the weapon closer to becoming practical, but each solution revealed new challenges. One important decision was the choice of the .45 ACP cartridge, already used by the U.S. military's M1A1 pistol. The cartridge offered excellent stopping power at close range. It matched Thompson's original vision of a weapon designed for short, intense engagements rather than long-distance firefights. Another key feature was the Blish Lock, a mechanical system intended to help manage the weapon's operation during automatic fire. While it played a role in the early design, continued testing showed that some parts were more complex than necessary. As the Thompson evolved, later wartime models simplified the design, making production faster and maintenance easier. Building the weapon in large numbers required industrial support. To achieve this, Auto Ordnance partnered with Colt, one of America's most respected firearms manufacturers. Colt produced the first commercial Thompson submachine guns with exceptional craftsmanship and quality. But that quality came at a price. The Thompson was expensive to manufacture. Its finely machined steel parts required time, skilled labor, and significant resources. For many military organizations in the 1920s, the weapon was simply too costly, especially during a period of limited defense spending. As a result, early military orders remained small. It would take another global conflict to reveal the Thompson's true value. When World War II began, the demand for reliable automatic weapons increased dramatically. Production expanded, and manufacturers introduced simplified versions such as the M1 and M1A1. These models eliminated unnecessary complexity reduced manufacturing time, and allowed the weapon to be produced in far greater numbers. The Thompson had finally become a practical, wartime firearm. What had started as an ambitious idea after World War I was now officially entering the hands of American and Allied soldiers, preparing for the largest conflict in history. The design had survived technical obstacles, financial struggles, and years of uncertainty. Now only one challenge remained. The battlefield would decide whether the Thompson truly deserved its growing reputation. The Thompson was finally where it had always been meant to be, the battlefield. Although it saw limited military use before World War II, it was during the global conflict that the weapon earned its reputation. As American forces entered the war, the Thompson became one of the first submachine guns issued to officers, paratroopers, Rangers, Marines, and other troops expected to fight at close range. It quickly proved its value. In North Africa, where battles often shifted from open terrain to fortified positions and narrow streets, the Thompson gave soldiers the firepower needed to clear enemy strongholds. In Europe, it became a trusted companion during house-to-house fighting, where quick reactions mattered more than long-range accuracy. Its greatest test came in the Pacific. Dense jungles, limited visibility, and sudden ambushes created exactly the kind of battlefield John T. Thompson had imagined decades earlier. At close range, the weapon's powerful .45 ACP rounds and rapid automatic fire gave American troops a significant advantage during fierce encounters. Soldiers admired its stopping power and reliability. Many felt more confident carrying the Thompson into dangerous situations because they knew it could deliver overwhelming fire in a matter of seconds. During raids, trench assaults, and urban combat, it became one of the most respected weapons in the American arsenal. But the Thompson was not perfect. It was heavier than many other submachine guns, making long marches more exhausting. Its strong recoil required training to control during automatic fire, and its high rate of fire meant ammunition could disappear surprisingly quickly in intense combat. Even so, most soldiers believed its strengths outweighed its weaknesses. As the war continued, Allied forces increasingly recognized the Thompson as one of the best close-quarters weapons available. It became more than just another firearm. It became a symbol of American infantry power. By the end of the war, the Thompson had earned legendary status. It had survived the ultimate test of combat and proven that its place in military history was well-deserved. Its success on the battlefield would soon carry the Thompson far beyond American forces, spreading its influence across the world. The Thompson had proven itself in American hands. But World War II transformed it from a national weapon into an international symbol. As the conflict expanded, Allied nations needed every effective weapon they could obtain. Through programs such as Lend-Lease, thousands of Thompsons were supplied to Allied forces fighting across different theaters of war. British and Commonwealth troops became some of the weapon's most important users. In the hands of commandos, special units, and frontline soldiers, the Thompson became valued for the same reasons American troops appreciated it: powerful close-range fire and dependable performance in difficult conditions. From European battlefields to resistance movements fighting behind enemy lines, the weapon developed a reputation as a firearm built for aggressive, fast-moving combat. Its influence extended beyond military use. After World War II, the Thompson continued serving with police organizations and security forces around the world. Its combination of reliability and stopping power made it attractive for situations where close-range firepower was needed. However, the Thompson's fame came from more than its military achievements. Few weapons have ever developed such a unique cultural identity. During the years of Prohibition in the United States, the Thompson became associated with organized crime. Newspaper images of gangsters carrying the weapon created a powerful public image that lasted for generations. The same firearm carried by soldiers fighting for survival overseas was also appearing in stories of criminals and law enforcement battles on American streets. This unusual connection made the Thompson unlike almost any other weapon in history. It existed in two worlds. One was the world of war, where soldiers relied on it during some of the most dangerous battles of the 20th century. The other was the world of popular culture, where it became a symbol of the turbulent years between the wars. Its influence also reached future firearm development. Although later submachine guns introduced simpler designs and cheaper manufacturing methods, the Thompson helped establish the importance of compact automatic weapons for close combat. Military designers around the world studied the lessons learned from weapons like the Thompson and continued developing firearms that offered soldiers greater mobility and rapid firepower. Over time, the Thompson became more than a weapon. It became an image. Films, television, books, and historical documentaries kept its reputation alive, often portraying it as the unmistakable firearm of World War II, soldiers, detectives, and gangsters. The distinctive shape, heavy construction, and powerful reputation made it instantly recognizable, even to people with little knowledge of firearms. Few military weapons achieved such a lasting connection with the public imagination. The Thompson represented an era when warfare, technology, and culture were changing at a rapid pace. It was a weapon born from the trenches of World War I, tested in the battlefields of World War II, and remembered long after the fighting ended. But every weapon eventually faces the same challenge. As warfare changes and new technology emerges, even the most famous designs must adapt or disappear. And for the Thompson, that moment was approaching. The Thompson had earned a legendary reputation. It was trusted by soldiers, recognized around the world, and remembered as one of the most famous firearms of the 20th century. But battlefield success alone could not stop the march of technology. As World War II continued, military planners began searching for weapons that could provide similar firepower, while being faster and cheaper to produce. The Thompson's greatest weakness was not its performance. It was its complexity. The weapon was built with high-quality materials and careful machining, but that made it expensive and time-consuming to manufacture. During a global war that demanded millions of weapons, simplicity became increasingly important. Armies needed firearms that could be produced quickly, maintained easily, and distributed in massive numbers. This led to the development of newer designs. One of the most important replacements was the M3 submachine gun, often known as the grease gun. Unlike the Thompson, the M3 was designed around simple manufacturing and low production costs. It used fewer complex parts and could be produced much faster. The difference reflected a major change in military thinking. The question was no longer only, how powerful is the weapon? It became, how efficiently can we equip an entire army? The M3 offered many of the advantages of a submachine gun while solving the production problems that limited the Thompson. After World War II, the evolution of infantry weapons continued. Military forces began moving away from traditional submachine guns as new battlefield requirements emerged. Modern conflicts showed that soldiers needed weapons capable of engaging enemies at greater distances while still providing rapid fire. This shift eventually led to the rise of assault rifles, which combined characteristics of rifles and automatic weapons. The Thompson, designed for close-range combat, belonged to an earlier generation. Its role on the battlefield gradually decreased. However, disappearing from frontline service did not mean the weapon became irrelevant. Some military organizations continued using remaining Thompson stocks for years. Police forces and security agencies also kept the weapon in service because of its reliability and powerful reputation. For certain roles, the Thompson remained effective, but the era that created it was ending. Newer weapons were lighter, easier to manufacture, and better suited to the changing nature of warfare. The Thompson had achieved everything it was designed to do, but
military technology continued moving forward. Its retirement was not because it failed, it was because it succeeded in proving a concept that later weapons would improve upon.
The Thompson helped establish the importance of portable automatic fire for infantry and demonstrated the value of compact weapons in close combat. By the time it left the battlefield, it had already secured its place in history. Its military career was fading, but its legend was only growing stronger. The Thompson Submachine Gun was never just another firearm. Its military service was relatively short compared to many famous weapons. Yet its place in history became much larger than its years on the battlefield. Today, the Thompson remains one of the most recognizable submachine guns ever created. Its distinctive shape, powerful reputation, and connection to some of the most important events of the 20th century have made it a symbol of an entire era. The weapon represents a time when warfare was rapidly changing. It was created from the lessons of World War I, tested during the destruction of World War II, and remembered through decades of military history and popular culture. Its greatest contribution was not only the battles it fought, it helped prove the importance of compact automatic weapons for modern infantry combat. The Thompson demonstrated that soldiers operating in close environments needed firearms designed around speed, mobility, and firepower. Later, submachine gun designs would improve upon its weaknesses, becoming lighter, simpler, and cheaper to produce. But the Thompson helped establish the path they followed. Its influence can be seen in the continued development of weapons designed for close-range combat and specialized military roles. Beyond military history, the Thompson became a cultural icon. Museums around the world preserve examples of the weapon as a reminder of the conflicts that shaped the 20th century. Private collectors continue searching for surviving models because the Thompson represents not only engineering history, but also the human stories connected to war. For historians, the weapon offers a unique look into a period of rapid technological change. It reflects the challenges faced by armies trying to adapt to new forms of combat. It also reveals how a single invention can develop different meanings depending on where and how it is used. On the battlefield, it was a trusted tool, carried by soldiers facing extreme danger. In popular culture, it became an image instantly associated with World War II, law enforcement, and the dramatic stories of the early 20th century. Few firearms have achieved such a powerful connection with the public imagination. The Thompson became more than a machine. It became a symbol of innovation, born from the lessons of war, a symbol of soldiers who carried it through some of history's most difficult battles, and a symbol of an era when technology, conflict, and society were changing faster than ever before. The Thompson story ultimately goes beyond the history of a firearm. It is the story of human creativity, wartime necessity, and the lasting memories created by the weapons that shape history. The story of the Thompson began with a problem. The battlefields of World War I had revealed a harsh reality. Soldiers needed more than traditional rifles and heavy machine guns. They needed a weapon that could deliver powerful automatic fire while remaining portable enough for close combat. John T. Thompson believed he had found the answer. His vision of a trench broom was born from the need to transform infantry warfare. He imagined a weapon that could give individual soldiers the power once limited to heavier crew-operated weapons. Although the Thompson arrived too late to influence the trenches of World War I, the idea behind it was far ahead of its time. The weapon became a bridge between two eras of warfare. It was created from the lessons of one world war, tested during another, and remembered long after the fighting ended. On the battlefield, the Thompson became a trusted companion for soldiers facing some of the most dangerous close-range engagements of the 20th century. From the deserts of North Africa to the islands of the Pacific and the streets of Europe, it provided infantrymen with the firepower they needed when battles became fast, chaotic, and personal. Its reputation was built through combat. Soldiers valued its power and confidence it provided in situations where every second mattered. It became a weapon associated with aggressive movement, close fighting, and the determination of troops pushing forward under extreme conditions. But the Thompson story was never only about war. Few firearms in history have achieved the same level of recognition beyond the battlefield. The Thompson became a symbol that existed in multiple worlds at once. To soldiers, it represented reliability and firepower. To historians, it represented a major step in the evolution of infantry weapons. To the public, it became an unforgettable image connected with one of the most dramatic periods of the 20th century. Its association with Prohibition-era crime gave it a reputation unlike any other firearm. The same weapon carried by Allied soldiers fighting overseas also appeared in newspaper headlines and popular stories about America's criminal underworld. This contrast created a unique legacy. The Thompson was not remembered only because of what it was designed to do. It was remembered because of the many different roles it played in history. The weapon helped prove the importance of portable automatic fire and influenced the development of future firearms. Although later designs became lighter, cheaper, and more practical, they followed a path that weapons like the Thompson helped create. Its time as a dominant military weapon eventually ended. Technology moved forward. Armies demanded simpler and more efficient designs. New generations of firearms replaced it on the front lines. But replacement did not mean failure. The Thompson achieved something far more difficult than remaining in service forever. It became unforgettable. Its story represents the relationship between innovation and necessity. It shows how a single idea can emerge from the problems of one era and continue influencing the world, long after those problems have disappeared. Today, the Thompson remains preserved in museums, collections, and historical archives around the world. Researchers continue studying it, collectors continue searching for it, and filmmakers continue using its image to represent moments of conflict and change. More than a century after its creation, the Thompson still carries the memory of the people who designed it, built it, and carried it into history. It stands as a reminder that weapons are not only machines of war. They are products of human decisions, human struggles, and human attempts to overcome impossible challenges. The Thompson began as an ambitious invention designed to solve a battlefield problem. It ended as one of the most recognizable symbols of military history. Its battlefield career may have faded, but its legacy remains powerful. The unmistakable shape, the famous reputation, and the stories surrounding it continue to keep the Thompson alive in the memory of generations. The Thompson may no longer dominate modern battlefields, but its unmistakable silhouette and thunderous legacy continue to echo through military history. And perhaps the greatest question it leaves behind is this: has any other firearm ever achieved the same balance of battlefield importance, technological influence, historical impact, and cultural recognition as the legendary Thompson? Because many weapons have been powerful, many weapons have been successful, many weapons have changed warfare, but very few have become symbols of an entire era. The Thompson was not just a gun carried by soldiers. It was a witness to history, a weapon born from the trenches, tested in global war, transformed by culture, and remembered long after its final shot was fired. And that is why the Thompson remains more than a firearm. It remains a legend